in fact, the king of TNA.
Hail to the king, baby.
People have been signing our death warrants since, a couple weeks into the existence of the company. The energy this year is an energy of perseverance and of unity, the locker room, all uniting together to make TNA the best product we possibly can. My goal is to win the TNA World title. That's the one thing that has eluded me almost 27 years into this career. I'm in the situation right now where I basically predate everybody in the company. He's riding a wave of something very, very unique and very, very hot.
Do you think some of your counts were a little bit fast as special guest referee?
Until I was assaulted by John Layfield, I was probably hands down the best referee that's ever set foot inside of the TNA ring. I just had nothing but adrenaline, and as soon as I jumped, what popped into my head was, I have to land somehow. If I could go back and do things differently, I would maybe be a little more selfish. This time I'm looking out for me, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Rewind, recap, relive. Woo! That's what the world is watching.
My guest today is a TNA original who's held tons of gold throughout his career, including numerous X Division title reigns, tag title reigns, but now he's holding a different type of gold, the Call Your Shot Trophy. Please welcome the king of TNA, Frankie Kazarian.
Thanks. That's a great intro. You got it all. You nailed it all.
I got it. I tried to get it right for you. Show respect, the king of TNA. And you look very comfortable right now too. I love the outfit. Very nice.
Man, I'm always my signature scarf, an awesome shirt. Yeah, man. Gotta, can't leave home without it.
No, and can't complain. But first, I want to get your thoughts on a big announcement that recently dropped. So fans were allowed to vote on the two cities for the massive upcoming pay-per-views TNA is putting on: Rebellion in Los Angeles, where you are right now, I believe, and Slammiversary, my hometown of New York City. I can't wait for these events. Having been with TNA throughout the years, like you have, is it cool to see that fan interaction and fans have so much control?
Sure. I mean, it's, I like to say we always listen to the fans, and, both are huge, blockbuster markets, New York and Los Angeles. And I, for one, am psyched about the Los Angeles aspect of that. New York, of course, is always, New York is New York. That's goes without saying. But, LA is kind of an untapped market for Los Angeles. And I've been waiting a long time for that. And I know a lot of fans here locally. I'm constantly asked about when is TNA going to run a proper show in Los Angeles, and they got their answer now. So very cool. I like that TNA put it to the fans, and didn't get an overwhelming winner, so said let's run both spots. So it's all part of what's going to be a very big 2025 for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I heard, over 1 million votes cast, and it is really cool that both sides were listened to. And tickets for those events go on sale this Friday, December 20th. If you're a TNA Plus member, you're already able to grab your tickets. But I really think everyone should grab their tickets because TNA is just on fire right now, and it has been for some time. And someone like yourself who's been with TNA for so long now throughout the years, what makes this vibe of TNA different then? Or how does it compare to other times that you've been in the company?
I mean, like everything is certainly different from when I started. I am in the situation right now where I basically predate everybody in the company. I was there pretty much from day one. Aside from there's a lot of people behind the scenes that have been there a very long time, and aside from me and Eric Young, we're pretty much the last of what would be considered the OGs.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a different energy this time around. TNA has gone through so many ups and downs and highs and lows, and we've been written off, and people have been signing our death warrants since a couple weeks into the existence of the company. So we're kind of used to that, but this is the energy this year is an energy of perseverance and and just of unity, the locker room, the guys and girls in the ring, the people behind the scenes, all uniting together to make TNA the best product we possibly can. And I think we've really shown what we can do this year in particular. With the rebrand of TNA, we kind of came out of the gate running, and the momentum is continuing. So it's it's revitalization, I think, is the word I'm looking for. Everybody's just, we're firing on all cylinders. Our shows have been great. We're trending upward in every measurable metric, and so I just the energy to answer your question. The energy of this particular crew is just what makes it stand out as different.
No, it's really cool to hear that straight from you. And you also, this run in your career, have such a different vibe about yourself, and you put everyone on notice that your goal is to win that World Heavyweight Championship, and you're one step closer now with the Call Your Shot trophy. Personally, what makes this run for you different? Why is this time the time that you're coming back to win it?
I mean, again, I came back to TNA because I wanted to be here, and basically, I fell back in love with wrestling. I'm given a lot of creative freedom. I'm, looked upon as a leader. I'm acknowledged as a guy that helped build this place in the early days, and I'm not here looking for those things. But those are all things that I've worked very hard at, um, and yeah, I've made no bones about it. My goal is to win the TNA World Title. That's the one thing that has eluded me. And we're almost 27 years into this career, and it's cool to still have goals, to still have those desires and those dreams, and to be able to fulfill those dreams in TNA, where I basically cut my teeth and have had so many memorable matches and moments, and I've been part of so many big things. You know, in terms of with the company and personally and professionally. Um, yeah, it's like I said, I'm done. If I could go back and do things differently, I would maybe be a little more selfish because this time I'm looking out for me, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah, and you're proving it week after week. Someone who's been standing in your way is Joe Hendry. And I'd love to ask you about Joe Hendry because it seems like he's been a thorn in your side. You got him back a little at Bound for Glory, but have you ever seen such a connection that Joe Hendry has with the TNA fans right now?
He's an anomaly. Things like I don't know if you want to call it lightning in a bottle or whatever the case may be. He's riding a wave of something very very unique and very very hot right now. You know every town we're in, the reactions from the live audience are ear shattering. It's loud. He's obviously got a tremendous buzz. He's very. I'll give Joe this. He's very very good at promoting himself and promoting the Joe Hendry brand. He's very creative. I know everybody likes the songs and the parodies and all that. And he's an important piece. Honestly, I hate to give him credit, but it's what I do. I don't, I'm here to build up, not here to tear down. He's an important piece of what we've done this year and where we're going in 2025. And Joe Hendry is someone that I think he's going to look back at this time and just think, wow, what an amazing ride this has been, because this is nobody's really done what he's done in the last couple of years. There's guys that have branched out on their own and stood out. I take a look at someone like a Matt Cardona, for example. That's really a guy that bet on himself and is doing great. But Joe Hendry is just on doing that same thing but on a different playing field, and it's been pretty fascinating to watch from the inside.
Yeah. And speaking of the inside, you were in the middle of he and Nick Nemeth at Bound for Glory. Do you think some of your counts were a little bit fast as special guest referee?
I think I was the best special guest referee in the history of the business. I think I called it right down the middle. I think I was, until I was assaulted by John Layfield, I was probably hands down the best referee that's ever stepped foot inside of a TNA ring. My cadence was perfect. I've gotten compliments from referees in the industry, current and past. I'll won't mention their names to save those personal conversations. But no, I thought I did a tremendous job.
Well, a lot of people out there probably have mixed opinions, but yeah, JBL came in, he hit you with a clothesline, he hit Joe Hendry with a clothesline. I mean, everyone's wondering why JBL is showing up with these clotheslines. Do you have any hypothesis as to what he's doing following Nick around?
I'm not really sure. I mean, John's a very smart man, so I don't, I'm not going to claim to know what he's up to. But look, I'm a fan of John Layfield, and if he wants to, continue to bring his presence and stick his nose in our business, that's fine. But if he's going to lay hands on me, he's got to be expecting a receipt. Terminology we use. So, John, you're welcome. You're welcome into my locker room anytime. But you're also opening yourself up to get punched in the jaw. So, if John has aspirations of getting in the ring and mixing it up in TNA, sign me up.
Well, as you're sending messages now, I believe I'm about to talk to Nick Nemeth in a little bit. As the Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner, you have the trophy. Do you have any messages for Nick as he holds the world championship right now?
I think Nick knows my feelings on him. Nick is a guy that when he was, when he became available, he became a free agent. Uh, you know, I was the first to reach out, among the first to reach out, and I was the first to reach out to TNA management saying, this is a guy that will help us get to the next level. You know, I respect the guy immensely for what he's done in the ring. He's an incredibly talented wrestler. And we've had our disagreements here. He knows exactly what I'm capable of. And he's not he's a bright guy. He's got eyes in the back of his head, and he knows I have that call you shot gauntlet. But as far as sending any messages, I'm going to go ahead and let my actions speak for me because I'm a very tactical person, and I'm not going to drop any breadcrumbs for him to maybe go back and see what I'm up to.
No, definitely keep him guessing. That is the best strategy. I want to move to something that you were a huge cornerstone of in TNA's history, and that's the X division. I've heard you say that you wear your time in that division like a badge of honor, and I'd really love to just hear what your feelings are in the division now and how it continues to transform, especially with the massive talent we see in the X division today.
Yeah, when I started and was immediately put in the X division, it was I was surrounded by so many incredible wrestlers and guys that define that X Division style. If you talk about guys like Amazing Red and Jerry Lynn and Low Key and Chris Daniels and Chris Sabin and AJ, and then later on Samoa Joe, Sanjay Dutt, all these amazing guys. And I never necessarily was like a high flyer. I dare I say do some athletic stuff, but that wasn't necessarily my forte. But I got labeled as an X Division wrestler, and that's something I didn't mind. I didn't mind that label because the X Division is and was one of the most cutting edge, cool, innovative things that's happened to pro wrestling in the last 20 years. Looking at it now and seeing what guys like, I'm a big fan of a guy, Leon Slater. He's going to be a huge star. The Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zach, and so many guys, the stuff they do out there, incredible. Feats of athleticism that I wouldn't attempt. But they've evolved the division, and all the guys in TNA, especially the X Division wrestlers specifically, they grew up being fans of TNA. So they also, like I do and did, wear being an X Division wrestler and in some cases an X Division champion as a badge of honor. It's cool. Like guys are now aspiring to be X Division wrestlers the way kids aspire to be WCW cruiserweight wrestlers, and that's really really cool to be a part of.
Well, and then as the kids today looked up to you, who were some of the guys you were looking up to when you were crafting that unique style?
Oh man, so when I was a real little kid and I first got involved in pro wrestling, my first favorite wrestler, and I always say this, and still one of my very favorites to this day, is Tito Santana. That's a guy that, just I don't think ever gets the credit he deserves for being the complete wrestler and technician he was. But as I got older, I always liked the guys that were, I liked the WWF Intercontinental wrestlers, Kurt Hennings and Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and, guys like that. And then, obviously guys like Jerry Lynn was hugely influential on me. And as to this day, become a friend and a mentor. Rob Van Dam, those type of guys, Dean Malenko, guys that could mix it up and have great technical matches, could go to the air, could just guys that I consider complete wrestlers. Those were always my favorites.
Well, you yourself, you definitely took what they did and you morphed it into your own. And you said there were some feats of athleticism you're seeing today that you wouldn't try. But I got to go back to this insane leg drop moment, Ultimate X match, you just off the top to Davari. Can you take us back to that moment?
Yeah, it's again, it was, I was a young guy fighting for a spot, and I had been in so many of those X Division matches, and at that point, we were almost there's a group of us, me and Chris Daniels and AJ and Chris Sabin and Petey Williams and those guys. It was always almost kind of like, can you top this? And I do a lot of leg drops in my arsenal, if we can use that word. Um, and it was just looking for, hey, what can I do? We got these trusses here. Oh, I could probably do this. And it was just reckless abandon. It was just throwing caution to the wind. Honestly, I didn't think anything of it. The only time I started to think, oh no, is after I actually jumped. I just had nothing but adrenaline. And as soon as I jumped, for whatever reason, at that moment, what popped into my head was, I have to land somehow. I was like, well, this is very far down. It's like it just, I don't know. I guess call it like blissful ignorance or just youth or just a combination of the both. I thought nothing of it, and then I did it. I landed. It hurt like hell, but yeah, again, so much adrenaline at that point. Um, but it created a moment, and if I've learned anything in the last quarter century is that you know pro wrestling is about moments. Like there's a bunch of cool moves. There's so many great matches, especially nowadays. But it's really as fans, which I am. It's those moments we remember. So I'm trying to create something unique and special for that particular crowd, that particular.
Yeah, I know, and you definitely did. And another really cool spot that you're able to do with a close friend of yours, well documented, Christopher Daniels, as he's hanging upside down, and you hit that cutter on him off the structure. Another epic moment. What was that like for you guys to pull off together, being so close?
Another one, that's one that again, uh, looking back, it was just such like I was like, hey man, if you hang upside down, I could jump up and hit you with a cutter. He's like, yeah, I could do that. I could probably hang upside down.
So cool.
Then that was it. That was it. But I would, having said that, I wouldn't have done that with anyone else because there's very few people I trust to that measure, like Christopher Daniels, because he's so incredibly talented, such a pro.
Yeah.
And again, it was just one of those. The slightest, move to the left or to the right, or anything happens, that could be disastrous. But if the stars align, and again, we created one of those moments. That move happens, and you see the impact zone. They start like a mosh pit. Like guys are like throwing their beers in the air, and guys, it's nuts. It was like being at a rock show. And as a rock fan, I love that. I just fed off of that stuff, especially as a younger guy. Again, trying to just
Yeah.
stand out. I was never the biggest guy, so I was doing whatever I could to stand out. And those moments helped me become the complete wrestler I am.
Yeah, it's so true. And there will never be another X Division Ultimate X style match. It's just so unique, so memorable. And yeah, we're still talking about those moments to this day. So that's really cool. So like I mentioned earlier, you said 2024 is going to be your year. We've got about 12, 13 days left of the year, and you're still holding that Call Your Shot trophy. Can we see you possibly? I know you don't want to drop any breadcrumbs, but are any wheels turning that before 24 is up, you might want to cash that in?
I don't know. I've positioned myself exactly where I want to be. At the beginning of the year, I kind of put my mission statement out there, and I'm right where I need to be going into 2025. I kind of, if we're playing poker, I got a great hand, but the only difference is everybody knows it. It's not like I'm holding my cards and no one at the table knows. Everybody knows what I have.
Yeah.
I can go ahead and say it. I think I've worked very hard this year. TNA's had a very challenging year, but a very very rewarding year. I'm looking to just relax for the next couple of weeks, enjoy the holidays, you know, um, polish my trophy, and just do some planning. I got some ideas for what I want to do. And those ideas start January 1st, 2025. So I think I'm gonna enjoy my spoils this year and just kind of and bask in the memories of what the year 2024 was.
We've definitely earned it. And I mentioned earlier, Mega Online Sale starts Friday, December 20th, Rebellion in Los Angeles, Slamversary in New York City. Frankie, any final words on what fans can expect for TNA or these events in 2025?
I mean, again, anybody that's tuned in, and especially anybody that's gone to any of our live events this year, knows what we bring to the table. Our shows across the board consistently have been the best pro wrestling shows, top to bottom, in the business. So if you are in any of those areas, and we got a lot of, we're going to be in El Paso and in Missouri, and we're gonna be in a lot of different spots. Come check TNA out, even if you have in the past, and you haven't recently. Come check it out now, because we're firing on all cylinders. It's definitely a show you won't forget. And we got big things planned. A lot announced, a lot yet not announced for 2025. So if you've been on the ride, thank you. If you're new to the ride, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time for this. This was awesome. I love just a bit to pick your brain.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you.
Rewind, recap, relive. Woo! That's what the world is watching.